Welcome to the Innovation World podcast. Innovation World is your go-to source for all things innovation, invention, and entrepreneurship. Our website is www.innovationworld.org.
Carmine Danisco coming to you live from the Launch Network and Innovation World. We have a great show for you today. We got some cool stuff, and this is one of these preliminary shows that we've been practicing. We were getting stuff together for our live event coming up tomorrow. Starting tomorrow, going to go 24 hours. We'll talk a little bit about it during this show. Let me bring on my co-host, the great Julie Shively. What's happening, Julie?
Hey, so much, Carmine. It's crazy. I mean, the last 72 hours, maybe a little bit longer, the whole team, Daisha and Jake and yourself and I have been cramming to get everything ready, and we're really excited. I mean, it's noon tomorrow, 11 hours from now, we're going to go live with the first ever 24-hour invention telethon type thing, only we're not raising money. Should have done that. You could next time it will be a real telethon where we get some hosts on there. They're asking for money. That'd be great. But we are super excited. We have our email is lighting up today with attendees signing up. So we're excited about that. As soon as you sign up, you get a return email that gives you the link that you need to go on to watch the show live tomorrow, beginning at noon, New York City time. And I would like to say today we have, he's becoming a regular guest host of ours. Jake Mendelson is on. Daisha Jones is on today. She completes our team along with Carmine and I. That team is the GIFT team, the Global Innovation Field Trip team. And we today have some guests that will be accompanying us on the field trip, I believe, tomorrow and in the July field trip too, pretty sure. So with that, let me go ahead and throw it over to Jake. And Jake, you can start introducing our guests from Canada.
Now I'm unmuted. Okay. This is my sole function in life, not to be important, but to introduce the important people. So we have three wonderful guests today. This is Debra, Erin, and Kathy. And Debra, would you like to go first and introduce yourself and then maybe pass the baton on down?
Sure. Happy to be here. And greetings from the wilds of Toronto, Canada. I am the president and CEO of the Learning Partnership. We are a national organization that works in the classroom with students across Canada in the area of invention education. And we're really thrilled to be here today to be part of the inaugural launch of GIFT. And I'm thrilled to have my colleague Erin here and one of our amazing student inventors, Kathy Dong. So Erin, over to you.
Such a treat to be here. My first ever podcast experience. So me and my nodules, thank you. Also based in Toronto, Canada. And yeah, I'm very honored and humbled to be the National Director of Development at the Learning Partnership, working closely with Debra and recently with Jake as well to help facilitate global connection for the students who are part of our program to showcase their learnings and inventions among a great network of peers and mentors. So really excited for today's conversation, but have to say I'm counting down to the launch of tomorrow's event. Over to Kathy.
Hi, I'm Kathy Zhang, and I am 14 years old. I am a young inventor from Toronto, Canada as well, and I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
So, Kathy, I want us to be able to get to talk to you in a little bit more depth in just a minute. Before we do that, I wanted to ask Debra and Erin if they could talk a little bit more about the program. So what age groups or grade levels your kids, the kids you are that you work with, how long your program's been going, what you're wanting to do next. Kind of just give us everything.
All the juicy stuff.
Yeah.
Well, the Learning Partnership started about 25 years ago, Julie, and it was really invented as a way for business leaders and education leaders to come together because there was a real recognition that there are mutual interests in terms of the students and the programming in school, as well as our future leaders and workers and thinkers. So over the last number of years, we've evolved from, we launched with a program in Canada called Take Our Kids to Work Day, which I know actually was launched in the US and we've brought it to Canada. And that's a grade 9 program that really opens students to the world of work as they look to the future. But before they get to grade 9, we have programs that run from kindergarten through to grade 8. And those are programs held in the classroom. And they're programs that really focus on innovation education. And for us, that's really looking at critical thinking, looking at teamwork and collaboration, looking at creativity, looking at, problem solving. And it's packaged in different ways for different grades. One of our earlier programs is called Entrepreneurial Adventure, and that has a focus on business in terms of being an entrepreneur. But again, it's the students identifying a critical issue and how do they want to solve it. And together as a team, they solve it and they raise money for a local charity. The program that Kathy's a part of is our iCubed program, and that's really looking at science and invention. And again, students identify a critical issue at home, in the world, wherever, and they really go through the process to investigate, ideate, invent, and innovate. And in so doing, they come up with amazing, so much creativity, as you know, amazing solutions that they then showcase to students and to our corporate partners across the country. So that's TLP. And where we're heading right now is we were on a path to move a lot of our work to a more virtual approach. So the strange opportunity in this pandemic is that it's an opportunity for us to go even further, to engage more students. Part of our challenge and what's important to us is that we're engaging vulnerable students across the country, even those students that typically may not be able to be engaged in invention education, or they may not be able to be engaged and take our kids to work day because they don't have somebody to go to work with. So this is a whole way for us to capture, by moving virtually, to greater outreach and impact. And the GIFT, we're so excited about being part of GIFT because we know that there's so much for us to learn globally from students. And we learn so much from our Canadian students, and for our Canadian students to learn from students around the world is only just going to amplify their impact as future change makers and problem solvers.
I agree. I think that there's a wonderful opportunity, not only for Kathy, but for the students that are, all of the other students that will be in this program, to learn about each other, maybe make connections with each other through us, and develop lifelong collaborations. Erin, what do you want to add to that?
I mean, Debra is as thorough as always. What I will add is just an emphasis on the fact that we are unique in the design of our programs in complementing the curriculum expectations that our provinces and ministries of education have designed. So we work with teachers directly in order to plug into and complement the education programming that they're running in their classrooms, so that we are part of the core education landscape at the end of the day. And really looking at our original founding father and mothers, we continue to be really curious about partnership. And I mean, looking at the research about the fourth industrial revolution and the fact that the landscape for work is changing so dramatically, what are the critical skills that these students need to be developing today to be successful regardless of what the future looks like? And I think even more excitingly, how can they be shaping and designing the future for themselves? So that's a really critical part. And I have to say already, even in the brief period that we've been officially involved in GIFT, it has unlocked a lot of potential and opportunity for us to be speaking to like-minded organizations across Canada, as well as some entities who are sort of offshoots or tangents of the work that we do. For example, Skills Canada, who are really invested in promoting trade skills, career paths, and careers in technologies. And how can we be working with those types of organizations and thought leaders to really promote that important skill development for the youngest students in our country.
I love to hear that. I love to hear the impact that this program is having on you. And not just this program. I think when we started when we first thought about GIFT, which was like the third week of February, I think, it kind of just was several coincidences happening at the same time that led me to Daisha, and then Jake to me, and me back to Jake, and the car. I mean, just all came together along the same lines. Jake wanted to talk about the Invent Future Global. I wanted to talk about this silly idea about a 24-hour thing, and they were just so perfect together. And I mean, it's such a big world out there. There's so many things that can work well together in collaboration. We don't have to do it on our own. It's so much easier to do it with you.
Can I just amplify something that Debra talked about? Because Debra talked about the depth, but also the Learning Partnership is through the entire country of Canada, from New Brunswick all the way to Vancouver and everything in between. So it's more than just a program. We have three wonderful people here from Toronto, but it's more than just Toronto.
Very much so, and I was going to say, you'll see that on Gift in the next 24 hours, because we have students participating from the east, from the west, from center. And I think for us, we want to involve even more students. So this is such a great opportunity to start the conversation, and then to see where it rolls out to. There is just, as you know, there is so much energy and excitement and curiosity in our students. And if we can, we've been talking about, how do we support students to be the change makers and problem solvers of tomorrow? They're doing it right now, and we need them right now. And as we are, as grown-ups, we're learning more these days about how are we the change makers and problem solvers as we wind our way through COVID-19. And I've always believed that great ideas come from anywhere. And for me, this is more important than ever, that we look to our students and listen to our students who are coming up with unexpected ideas, and how can we create the space for them to do more of that? So as a grown-up, how can I facilitate their great ideas? They've got it all going on. So that's why we're really excited about the Gift, the 24-hour idea. Julie, I love it that you came up with this, and that all this team brought it together. I think what I love too is when we share this idea with others, how they light up. Everybody gets it. And the fact that they're going to hear, was it 144 students, or it's just to do it around the clock. It excites people. And so for me, that excitement is also a spark of curiosity for others who might be, hovering around the edges of innovation education, but this is a chance to dive in and really see it in action from the students themselves.
Speaking of students, Kathy, how do you feel about unmuting yourself and sharing with us a little bit? Can you tell us, first of all, are you a multi-year inventor, or is this your first invention?
It's actually my first invention. I've only started this year in grade 8.
Wow. And tell us about your invention.
So I created an invention, and it's called Waste Ed. And it's spelled like wasted, but the ED is capitalized, so it's pronounced Waste Ed. And so it's a digital application, an app that aims to educate youths about the consequences of the global waste issue and the importance of solving it and ways they can take action to help. So with this app, I want every youth using it to correctly sort, reduce waste, and to actually care about the environment. And also this app, one of the other goals is to inspire educators and parents to continue this education at school or at home with their children.
I love the play on words. I think that's really cute, and it will draw a lot of attention. Can you give us an example of how a student might use it?
So this app is suitable for students of all ages. So it's split into 4 different sections. The first section is for preschoolers. And so there's different features for each of the sections. And as for the preschoolers, we have a game that teaches about what goes where, for example, sorting waste. And there is a collection area that acts as a reference. And there's also fun facts and tips. And the second section is for school-age children. And over here, we also have a game about sorting waste, what goes where, but it's more complicated. And the other feature that I want to talk about is it's the DIY area where there's video tutorials about crafts. And the unique thing about this is that all the crafts are made from recycled materials. So this is teaching students how to reuse waste items. And the third section is for tweens and teens. And we have a trivia game to test the user's knowledge about waste. And there's also a campaign section where you can explore other campaigns, support them, or you can even start your own campaigns. So that teaches students how to there's also guides about how to be a young environmentalist, so that inspires teens and tweens to become young environmentalists. And the last section is for educators and parents. This section has a big explore area where they're able to look for events happening around where they live, or lesson plans, posters, printouts, and all of these things, these resources to do with their children. And it also acts as a platform for sharing their own ideas.
Wow. Really? Is that all you did?
Mind blown.
You asked for it.
Okay, I quit and you can take it.
Sorry, it was
Exactly my point.
No, it's wonderful. You're wonderful.
Kathy, once the virus crisis has lifted, will you be having an autograph signing session?
You can send us one now.
I thought you were just going to show up a picture of this is what I want my app to do. But I mean, it's pretty much done.
So is it a working app?
I do have a prototype, and it is interactive, but I didn't code it because my coding skills are still a little bit limited.
Well, it sounds like they're going to get better.
Surprising.
That's just wonderful.
Kathy will be presenting in the July gift program. So,
wonderful.
Kathy,
Yeah.
You have 60 days
to code it.
Hey,
Julie, could I follow? Oh, sorry.
No,
go ahead.
go right ahead, Deborah. Go right ahead.
I wanted to ask you, Kathy, if you could share a bit about your experience on this invention. Like, what sparked your idea?
So I was I still am part of the Eco Club at my school. So I was always passionate about protecting the environment. And there are so many environmental issues right now, for example, global warming. And I really wanted to help solve one of those problems. And I guess one day when I was, in the car, I just wait, this is a great idea. Maybe I should try to do something about it. So yeah.
Hey,
So
Kathy, real quick. Obviously, apps are a part of your life, a part of a lot of the younger students' lives. And I think that it's great that you're targeting people that you know, people in your age group, people that are a little bit older, because basically getting used to this now is certainly going to help the world move forward. It's a little late for us older people, but we still want to help. But it's great that you're using this app, because I feel that you'll be able to reach more change-enabled people.
Us older people.
Well, we're a little bit older.
Carmine is the host of this call, or I'd have to hit that release button there.
I said older people. We are older.
We never give up hope on us older people.
No, it's great. So really, Kathy, how far along are you? What's the next step for you? Are you looking for a coder? Are you still tweaking out the steps, the different pages? What's the next step for you with this app?
Right now it's still a vague idea, I guess, but I would like to develop the details of everything. For example, what fun facts am I going to provide to the different age groups, and all those things. I would like to do that first, but I think it would be a great idea to work with an organization, like a nonprofit organization, to actually develop this.
Yeah,
I think it's a great idea. A lot of times people want to help do things. They just don't know how to get there and do it. And to put together what you're putting together just makes it so much easier for those young people to get involved and then maybe come up with some of their own ideas on what they could do, start their own campaigns, as you've said. And it's a really great way to start developing that philanthropy side of the little guys too, even as young as, did you say kindergarten or preschool?
Yeah, preschoolers, yeah.
Yeah, you can't start too young.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like us older people.
We too can learn.
Everybody, no, that's great. And this, Debra and Erin, is this obviously here in the U.S.? I was blown away. I just recently got into the younger inventor crowd. Julie had invited me to a couple of the competitions and things and I was blown away by. I thought I was going to see just some basic inventions and things like that. But these, when I say kids, these young adults, they really do such an unbelievable job in getting their point across, to showing what their product and how they want to change the world. Is this kind of the changing the world or helping the environment? Is this kind of how it goes across most of the inventions that you see?
I would say yes. We have showcases at the end of the year where students will share with each other. As I mentioned, we call them invention conventions. And so many of them are related to the environment. Different than what I've heard from Kathy. Kathy's is amazing, but the connection to the environment is so powerful. And I am endlessly blown away by students, who are in the earliest grades, coming up with ideas that they've looked on the NASA website, and it's about mining asteroids. And I just think it's such a huge leap from when, I was doing the volcano at science fairs in grade 6. And to see the extent to which their curiosity and their students' ability, with wonderful support from their teachers. I do want to give a shout out to the amazing teachers that support our programs and our inspirational guides for these students. Without them, none of this would be possible. But to really take these creative ideas, as we're looking at our programs, the environment is one amazing theme, as well as giving back to the world. How can we create social justice, etc.? There is an element, there's so many different facets, but the theme around the environment, yes, is quite massive. And the ideas just get better and better. To see through the eyes of wonder, to see through the eyes of curiosity, to see through the eyes of, if I do this and this, and with my teammate do that, it's really quite powerful. So we're seeing a lot of that focus on the environment grow, but also this great curiosity about contributing to the world.
Yeah, I visited a class, a grade 4 class, who was working in our entrepreneurial adventure program, which is really about creating a social venture to raise funds for a cause. And what struck me was the amount of enthusiasm you could feel in the room. And it was clearly a group of youngsters collecting around this passion for the cause that they had selected, which interestingly was also an environment-related charity. And I think that through an innovation education curriculum, one of the greatest lessons is the idea of iteration and failure, and how to reiterate and fail and get up, and resiliency that comes out of that. And so, I mean, the sophistication of solution, I think, is measured by how much passion these kids share as they rally around these issues. And we see that there's really this amazing ability to overcome problems and reiterate so that they can be successful. A fun fact is that over the years that Entrepreneurial Adventure has run, the participants in the program have collectively contributed over $3 million to different charities that they have selected, which I think is a real testament to how young people will stretch and continue to stretch when they're passionate about a cause.
Now, Erin, is that one of the programs that you're going to talk about during GIFT?
Maybe in July.
Okay. I would love to hear more about that. I think that's fabulous. I mean, I've been in the invention space for about 18 years, but that piece of the entrepreneur side with social giving, I haven't been in it. And I would love to hear more about it and see how we can bring more of that to the U.S. as well.
Totally.
And around the world. Not trying to think just in my U.S. mindset here, but yeah, it sounds exciting.
I'd like to add one more part. Back when I was in school, we had academics and then we had the real world over here. And now there's a third part, and I was at Debra's program last year, their invention convention. What really impressed me was the corporate sponsorship that she was getting, the support she was getting from companies, because they realized, frankly, Kathy, they need workers like you. They need people like you who can solve problems and make things happen. And they said this invention program is a way of taking the academics and taking the real world and bringing them together. And so, Debra, you had a wonderful corporate support and corporate sponsors, and I think they're really vital for all of this to happen.
Yeah, very much so, Jake. That was our event with Deloitte. And Deloitte, such an innovative organization, they had a team of facilitators work with the students to teach them about how to pitch. And so when the adult volunteers came into the room later, the students were really prepared to share their idea, because it's what we recognize is that it's one thing to come up with an idea, it's another to be able to communicate it and engage others in the thinking process. And so that particular event was an example of how we engage employee volunteers. So wonderful volunteers from Deloitte became the evaluators, and they'd walk around and ask questions. And there were these, as you saw, these great conversations happening between the adults and the kids. And there was a real shift, I think, in terms of understanding the extent to which these students were identifying problems and then coming up with really smart solutions. And to recognize that if we can just elevate that for more to be engaged, there's this wisdom coming in from the grown-ups and ideas coming in from the students. So it's such a wonderful place for our corporate partners to contribute in so many different ways. As you said, Julie, there are so many who want to contribute, and it's a matter of how. How can we contribute to support these incredible students to do more great work? And it may be another student, it may be a team in a corporate environment, it may be an individual entrepreneur. And that's part of what we're really trying to do, is to connect these different facets to create this space to cultivate and grow these amazing inventors and innovators.
Hey, Kathy, quick question for you. What was the most challenging part of this entire invention process for you?
I feel like the most challenging part would be carrying out my idea, carrying out the plan, because I had this goal, this big idea, but it was vague. And so deciding on the details of everything was just harder than I thought, actually. And that was, but it was really fun to figure everything out and to actually experience all of this.
And did you find that you ended up with more than one iteration of that first idea? Did it change over time?
Yes, I feel like it definitely did. It improved over time when I got feedback from my family, my peers. Yeah, definitely.
And you tell me you were in 8th grade or 7th grade?
8th grade.
Okay, 8th grade. Okay, so what would you tell another 8th grader who is just being introduced to the idea of becoming part of an invention program and just really isn't sure if they want to give up any of their time to get involved? What would you have to say to them?
Maybe like, if you're really passionate about something, you should just really try it out. It's really fun. And if you're really passionate about maybe solving a problem, this is a great time to try to really experience everything. And this is just such a cool experience. Just do what you're passionate about. Yeah.
I can see you in like high school now mentoring kids a little bit younger. You'd be really good. So another question, Erin and Debra, for you. Anybody out there listening today or that listens to this later on iTunes or Google, what do you need? And how do you reach you? If somebody wants to reach out and say, I've got to get involved in this program, what should they do? And what kind of things are you looking for help?
Well, our website is thelearningpartnership.ca for Canada, the .ca. And we're interested in talking to organizations who want to cultivate more innovative thinking and entrepreneurs for the future. We're interested in talking to teachers and educators to understand more about what do they need and how can we support them to cultivate innovation in their schools. We're also interested in elevating the understanding of innovation education. I think that it's such an important emphasis on curiosity and on problem identification. As Kathy identified, your passion was based on a problem that you saw. And that's also the starting point for the entrepreneurial adventure. There's a problem that needs a solution. And I think that it's that, raising the bar about the potential for all of us to have this, the problem identification approach to what we're seeing in the world. We're really interested in engaging others as part of that journey as we broaden this landscape in Canada and the world.
Domination. And it behooves me also to mention we're seeking partners who want to join us in this important work to inspire and empower today's students to become tomorrow's problem solvers and change makers. We love to ask questions and learn more about where people are curious or passionate themselves so that we can help them achieve their desired mission through collaborative partnerships.
And I think I would just add to that the opportunity to meet you, Jake, and then the connection to the global network of organizations who are doing this work around the world was really, it opened a whole world for me. It's just amazing to see the creativity that's happening in different countries on different levels. And so the Global Invention Field Trip is just such a way of bringing that together in a way that I can just see it amplify and grow, because we're not just in Toronto, we're not just in Canada, we're all connected the world over. And in the future, I mean, we see that in the pandemic that we're in right now, but even more so as we grow into the future and we see the different ways things are evolving in different parts of the world. Well, that reality is only going to escalate for students like Kathy who are growing into that world. So how can we be a part of helping to shift that at a global level? And that means we need to pay attention to the global level and what can we learn from students in southern Chile or students in the Ukraine or students in China. There's so much learning to be had. So thank you for that, responding to our call, Jake, and to be a part of your thinking on a global level, which brought us to being part of the GIFT.
What's your schedule at the GIFT? Is it all over the place? Are you scheduled all different times?
We're peppered throughout.
Well, no, actually, you're not. You're at, one of the reasons we're doing it 24 hours is you're doing it during your daytime. So they're going to be on Thursday afternoon, and then they're going to be on Friday morning.
Yes.
At 3 o'clock in the morning, it's for people in China and Indonesia who, for them, it's the middle of the day.
So you'll be with Carmine and Daisha on Thursday afternoon and with Jake and I on Friday morning.
Yes.
We'll be looking really groggy by then.
I've already started brewing coffee.
I only wish I drank coffee. I'm not sure what I'm going to do.
You might have to start after this.
Electrostimulation of some kind. Well, listen, I really want to thank Dr. Pepper. I really want to thank all of you
Dr. Pepper,
for joining us today. And we're super excited about seeing you again in the next 48 hours, depending on who we're talking about hosting. And again, for anybody out there who hasn't heard of the Global Innovation Field Trip yet, or wants to check it out, go to globalinnovationfieldtrip.org. You can sign up to present at our next event, which is July 9th. It's on a Thursday, or starts on July 9th, at noon Eastern time or New York City time, and will run for 24 hours again through part of July 10th. You can sign up to be an attendee and just watch tomorrow's event. There's a link on the website for that. So again, globalinnovationfieldtrip.org. We love to see you there. Be part of the crowd for this historical event.
It's going to be great. And as you guys said, Debra and Erin, what I love about this is no matter what's happening in the world, being able to see children and young adults, what they're worried about in their parts of the world and they're innovating is so interesting to me. because it does bring everyone together. You see what they're worried about is what we're worried about here, or what we're trying to fix is what they're trying to fix. And it's so cool to see that. And that's what I love about what Julie and Jake and Dacia are putting together. And don't let them fool you. I've had about this much participation in this. They had about 500 emails going back and forth, and I think I read one of them. And but they have been planning this, and it is really super organized. And my hat goes off to Julie and Jake and Dacia for putting this together. I'm lending as much a hand as I can, but it's going to be an awesome event going forward. And I just super happy to be a part of it. So for all you people that are listening out there, please going out to social media, Google Play, Innovation World, Global Innovation Fieldtrip.com.org, whatever you could do to find this information, sign up, check it out. And we're glad to be a part of it. It's awesome. So for myself, Carmen Danisco, for Julie Shively, Jake Melson, Dacia, wherever she is in the world, and the rest of the gang, thank you for listening. And we'll catch you next time on Innovation World. You all take care.
Thank you for joining us today for the Innovation World podcast on the Launch Network. Innovation World is your go-to source for all things innovation, invention, and entrepreneurship. Our website is www.innovationworld.org.